Aloha mai kako, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to episode 78 of the Moana Nui Podcast. Tonight, we bring to you a Kickstarter special with a fellow independent creator, children's book author, Josalyn. And we're really excited to have her on the show. We're going to talk tonight about kids' books, what inspired her to create it, and also, some of the work that she does aside from being an author. So, if you have children or you know someone who has children and would like to add some diverse books to your collection, please share and like this video so that they can come and join us tonight here on the podcast. Aloha, man. Thank you for tuning in as always. So we also have a quick announcement in that my children's book, The Adventures of Nakoa and Nohea, book number 2, will be coming to Kickstarter in the late September kind of time frame. So just letting folks know, be aware, we're coming back and we'll be sharing some concept art and some sneak peeks into it with our viewers here. So be sure to follow us on Kickstarter as well as on our YouTube channel and our Twitch. And I see my awesome illustrator who is also tuned in, Ryan Robinson. Guys, another gem in our community. So we look forward to that project. But with all that said, let me tell you guys a little bit about tonight's guest. Her name is Josalyn Thomas, and she was born and raised on the south side of Minneapolis, Minnesota. She is number 7 of 11 children. You gotta love the big families. My mom was definitely someone who came from a big family too. Jocelyn was raised by her parents, Kia and Eugene Green, and her mom, Tracy. The importance of building community and the relationships within it. As a child, she was introduced to the importance of learning how to build that community and creating resources through education, mentorship, and volunteering. Jocelyn was closely connected with 2 amazing programs, the Circle of Discipline and the Weight House, both located in South Minneapolis, where she gives the most praise to helping mold her into the person she is today. Jocelyn found her passion in teaching at Roosevelt High School, where she volunteered community service hours in the school daycare for teen parents. That's pretty awesome. Jocelyn found her passion here, and that's when she realized how amazing it is to see the process of children growing and learning. She later opened her first family childcare business, and the rest is history. So, without further ado, let us bring Jocelyn on to the show.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming and being a part of the show tonight and being the author that we are highlighting tonight for our Kickstarter series. So let us get started. Dana and I, when we start every episode, we like to start with a piko, which is the Hawaiian word for origin. Tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Like you kind of explained, I'm from south side of Minneapolis, Minnesota. I've been born and raised here forever. I have a huge family. Outside of my family, I have my family that I've built, mainly within the community. I was raised with the Circle of Discipline, who started off in our middle school, and I followed them, still in life. And then I worked really closely with Pillsbury United Communities at Weight House, and I built a lot of relationships there as well. So I also have 2 children, Ahmad and Kamor. They're 10 and 3 years old. So it's been pretty amazing. Ahmad was actually the reason why I started my family childcare. I had a really hard time finding, decent childcare when he was small. So I just said, the next go around, I'm just going to do this myself. I got a good idea of what I want to do or what I would like to see. So that's how I started with building my family childcare center. So Kamora was able to be raised in my family childcare.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's interesting how a lot of the good ideas come out of necessity. In your case, the childcare, I can kind of relate a little bit to that. Not childcare
Yeah,
specifically, but I created a business of something that I I never thought I'd be doing, which is my clothing line. But it was just people ask, and or an opportunity comes up, and it's like, well, I think I can do this. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations on being a business owner and starting a new um, income stream for yourself and your family. That's great.
yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
um, so in your bio, you talked a little bit about how important community building community is to you, and how that made you into the person you are today.
Mhm.
Um, can you tell us a little bit about the two programs that were important to you, like the Circle of Discipline and the Weight House? Like what are those programs about, and how did you get involved with them?
Um, so once I was old enough to join Weight House, Weight House is now moved over to the old Boys and Girls Club in Minneapolis. So they moved over there. But once I was old enough to get into that program, they were trying to teach us about learning how to give back to our community. So they would set us up to do things like we'd have to go mow elderly people's lawns. We would do Mississippi River cleanups. We would um, start our gardens all throughout the south side of Minneapolis and just put them out there so that we can get the community to either come and help us feed off of it and just kind of move from there. We used to paint storm drains, just don't litter here. Um, we would go and mentor other young kids to try to get them into the programs as well. But that program really just really taught me how to learn how to give and just be satisfied with that, not getting anything back in return, physically or, through money, but that it felt wealthy to us. So they would take us once a year on a service trip into another country. And to us, it was a trip outside of the country somewhere we may have never, touched. And they were giving us that experience. So while we were in these other countries, we would do things like help them build a school. They would need help painting or teaching us about agriculture and the way that their school systems are set up. So we were able to come back and really ultimately be grateful for what it is that we do have, with like get that deeper understanding and passion for what it is that the other kids in other countries do. We had to walk like a mile and a half to get to their school after we would do farming with them at home before the sun rose, and then walk that mile and a half and come back. And I came back very grateful. So we took that. The Circle of Discipline started with us at Sanford Middle School, and they would teach us a lot about learning how to be accountable, learning how to teach yourself discipline, um, and I mean, every way possible. So, with our schoolwork at home, walking with integrity, knowing that we were out all day long and we were doing what we were supposed to be doing, and that we were always to be looked at like a mentor. So, we carry that with ourselves every day. Um, Same thing as the Way House, learning how to give back, learning how to be a leader. We started that in middle school. I still carry that. I'm 30 now, and I started that at 14 years old. So, I appreciate both of those programs a lot.
Yeah, those sound like very important resources for the community. It sounds amazing. I wish I had something like that coming up, especially the mentorship part, right? And kind of
You're
learning
still my
from
mentor.
those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
that's what I'm
still really
saying.
close.
Like, because
Yeah,
it's like a lifelong kind of relationship, and
yeah,
I can see how it'd be very rewarding. Um, I don't know if you're still involved in it, but like to turn it around and give it right back, right? Like full circle, and become a mentor for someone in a program that gave so much to you.
yeah, absolutely. And I feel like it's easy for me to do because now I see what it was they were giving to us, mostly time. Like time is super valuable.
Yeah.
And they took that time and they poured it into us and poured it into us. And that's 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 how I carry myself, and that's exactly what I want to do, and I want to give back on a daily basis in any way, shape, or form. And I felt like family childcare was definitely a way that I felt like I can start it. I wanted to be like your child's first teacher, your first experience, and I feel like that's important when you have that good starting foundation. You kind of move along through life with those things, that integrity, that discipline, and I know that because of how much was poured into me, I could give that back.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. So you mentioned that through this program, you folks got to travel to different countries. What
hmm
countries were you able to visit, and how old were you when you were traveling?
uh, 13. We started at
Oh,
13. There was a trip every year. So,
nice.
Berlin, I didn't go on the trip to France. We went to Guatemala. Guatemala City. We went to Mexico, Oaxaca. Um, every year for sure into Berlin, but my favorite was Guatemala because that's where I really got that. I really I got it when I went to Guatemala when we had to get up at 4 a.m., farm, take care of the house, walk a mile and a half, go to school. And their schools weren't anything like our schools. They were still learning their math and their literature, science, but their science was out in the field. They're learning how to butcher the animals, how to raise their animals, how to grow their
Oh,
food.
wow.
And there was in the classroom, no fan, it's hot. Like I came back and I was like, I get it. I get it. So
Yes. So grateful for the fan and the
yeah,
AC.
everything. It was the mile and a
Yeah.
half walk before the
Yes.
sun rose that got me.
Yeah, I could totally see that. I've traveled a bunch overseas too, and when I come back, it really puts things into perspective in terms of like what we have in
Oh
comparison to
yeah,
like how other people live, right? So
yeah.
yeah,
I
that
considered living there. Like I was gonna go to, I was gonna study abroad there because I was so interested in. While it was hot, I felt like after 2 weeks, because we were there for 2 weeks at a time. After 2 weeks, I was like, this is I could get into this routine, although it's different and it's hard. I did consider coming back to study abroad there.
yeah, that's really cool. Maybe you could still do it. It's still lots of time, and it would actually be cool if maybe you could make like a Spanish version of the book. I've seen
Yeah.
some authors. I don't know how this all happens, but they create their books in different languages based on like demand that they're getting from other countries for stories like that. So maybe
hmm
that's something that might be down the road for you, so that you can continue to spread your stories in the places that you've been
Oh yeah.
before.
Yeah. Absolutely. I want to bring my
Yeah,
son. I
that'd be
want to see
awesome.
how he takes in the experience.
Yes, yes. I think traveling is very important in understanding like kind of the ground truth versus what the news and media likes to feed us right all the time,
Right.
um, and just understanding like seeing commonalities between different cultures and
hmm
values and a lot of the things that you gleaned from the programs that you were in.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
So how you talked a little bit about becoming an early child care provider. How did that happen? You mentioned it was from one of your children. Tell us a little bit about that.
Um, so originally I started the program in high school. There was a like a teen parent program in the high school, and my best friend had a she had a daughter at 16, and they said that in order for her to stay in school, that you had to do a certain amount of community service hours. So
Mm,
we all kind of pitched in and helped her with the hours. And as I kind of went throughout the year, I was like, I kind of like this. This is pretty cool. Like when I came here, this kid couldn't talk and they couldn't do this. And I just kind of, challenged them and played with them. And as you see the progress and the growth, I kind of got, I got obsessed with it. I was like, I could do this all the time. Um, but then, I took a step back from that after I graduated high school. I started a couple of different things, but I came back um, when my son, I was having such a hard time finding good childcare for him for the hours that I needed. And I just wanted to create that myself. And once he went into preschool, I went back to school. I went back to school for early childhood education. So that's when I dipped in it a little bit, and then I came back out of it. And then when I got pregnant with my daughter in 2016, I said, I'm gonna have this open by the time that she's born, and I'm gonna be her first teacher. I want to practice all on my own child and see how this goes. So I just became her first teacher. She was born literally into the daycare. I had her in December of 2017. I opened my daycare in October of 2017, and we're still going. Um, from there, she's just about to go into preschool.
Gotcha. That's amazing. So
hmm
in your daycare, is it just your children, or do you take on other children as well?
I have 14
Oh
kids right
wow.
now. Yeah, I have 14 kids right now, and they're not ready to go. Then my first group is going into kindergarten and first grade, and we're all feeling it.
Oh,
So
I can.
it's
Yeah.
it's sad actually. It's sad. I'm like, are you guys ready? They're like, no, we're not going anywhere. We're not going to kindergarten. You should just be a kindergarten teacher.
That's a
So
good sign, though. That means that you're being, you're successful with them. And 14
oh yes,
kids. Wow.
yes, yes.
How do you
So
manage that? Like,
you know, some days I just kind of look around the room now. I'm just like, I can't believe I'm doing this. And um, most days I feel like I haven't worked a job in, coming on 4 years now because I'm doing what I love.
mm-hmm.
Um, and the only reason why I feel like it ever gets challenging is because I'm catering to 14 different personalities. The actual job
Right.
itself is natural to me. I got it. Um, So it's a piece of cake. But once I did start the program and I seen how much I did enjoy teaching, after I went to school and I got my degree and I came back and I went and I got parent aware rated and I got did so many extra trainings because I was just like my first group that goes into school. I want to make sure that they're absolutely prepared. I partnered with Minneapolis Public Schools. I partnered with Reading Corps, and I had teachers come in and teach me how to teach, on site as well. And I just kept pouring into the program, pouring as much as I can. My food program, Janelle, she even gave me great ideas, which is kind of how I started dipping into let's grow our own food and see
Mm,
where we go from there. So the food program was pretty helpful with that as well.
gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Um,
Yeah.
so what, like my sister, she also studied early childhood education. And, she kind of went back and forth about homeschooling her kids or, sending them. Um, but did you ever struggle with like measuring yourself against being successful, like as someone who's doing it on their own versus like what they'd be learning in the schools? Or were you just like, was it just like, this is for me and it's going to be what it is?
I kind of went in with the vision that it's gonna be what I want it to be. Um, I think about when my son goes to school, what I felt like they were lacking, and that
Mm,
I feel like I need to add this or this isn't so important. I don't feel like we need to waste 3 weeks on, this, but
mm-hmm.
my son is a hands-on learner, so I got to cater to. I feel like you're able to cater to that a little more once you have control over. Um, I see what you need. I see your learning style. Classrooms are just different with that. You just kind of got to catch the flow sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with that. That works for some people, but um, I feel like I have more control over catering to each child.
Gotcha. Yeah, I could see that. I had a guest on a couple months back, who she she dealt with kids who learn in different ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
But catering and understanding the different styles. It's like a special relationship that you have with the children, and I just found that so heartwarming, to have these teachers who, like, really care about the students beyond the crappy pay that they get, right? Like,
Hmm.
it's the most underpaid
Yeah,
profession.
it is. It really is, but it's so satisfying.
Yes.
Um, I had somebody go back and forth with me one time about, okay, if you cater to them here, but the world isn't going to cater to them in that way.
Mm.
But what I felt like I can teach them is when they are frustrated and they're like, I can't figure this out. And the teacher says, well, this is how we're going to do it. This is our way of doing it. You have to teach yourself how to explain what it is that you need, how to know that you need to, this is your learning style. So you're teaching it to me like this,
Hmm.
but I need it like this. And they have to be able to verbalize that and come back and tell a teacher or other people what they need to be successful, instead of most of the time kids, 5 and 6 year olds, they just shut down once they are realizing that the whole classroom got it and they didn't. And now they're too embarrassed to ask for help, or they feel different because they're not getting it like everybody else. So a lot of that is self-esteem building, and in a lot of conversation. It's a lot of conversation, and I feel like I get to do that before they go into kindergarten and they
Hmm.
have those struggles. So
Yeah. And I think that's actually a really important skill that even for adults, because I see it in the workplace, right? Like, people who, we sometimes we have conversations and we're talking past each other, and it's because people grasp information, in different ways. Some people, it's if they need to learn visually. Others, it's listening or seeing. So I think that's great that you take those things into consideration,
yeah,
because I think it's
and
one
see,
of those
yeah,
kind of
and I'm dyslexic
un
myself. So when I go and I have to
okay.
teach, and I'm dyslexic myself, so I already know some of the challenges that you have, and I remember that. Like in therapy, I had a therapist, and she just would tell me, as long as you can figure out how to explain what it is that you need, or you can show me, then I can help you. So I
Yeah,
never felt bad anymore about saying, hey, that was backwards for me, and this is what I just understood.
right. Yeah, those
So,
communication skills are so important,
oh
regardless
yeah,
of how old
yeah.
you are.
And anybody
Even now.
that's met my kids in the daycare, like everybody is like, they're not too, like they're not. This isn't a conversation that you guys are having. And I was like, yeah, these kids, I always say they're different.
Mm-hmm.
They're different. So,
I love it. It sounds amazing.
mhm.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your Kickstarter, your news story, Watch Me Grow. What inspired it, and how did you begin that journey?
So my Kickstarter Crown had introduced. First, let me just tell you how I met Crown. When she started, when she was at the Black State Fair last year, I saw her underneath a tent. So I was going back and forth. I went up to her booth about 2 or 3 times, and I was like, I really want to write a book. I really want to write a book. I have no idea where to start, but I didn't want to. I didn't know how to ask anybody um, how to get started. And she was just like,
Mm-hmm.
nope, here's a card. I got this. Email me. We're gonna rap. We're gonna talk about it. I got you. And she was very responsive. She was on top of it. She was on top of it, and she came, and we started. I can't remember what year it was that we just went back and forth. I mean, not what year, what month it was that we went back and forth. But as soon as we got started, I was telling her what my idea of the book, and she just was like, "I'm so excited! Like, this is going to be amazing. I think you got it." We went through like pictures and we went through videos. I told her what my vision was. We met at the coffee shop, and it just kind of got rolling right away. What was the end of the question that you had asked me?
The question was, how did you begin your creative journey? I think you just talked about that. And
Yeah.
what inspired the story itself?
So what inspired the story itself is um, my boys in my daycare. They are they're amazing. They're amazing boys. but they're so like they're going constantly. And I was trying to figure out a way where I could slow them down. And they always wanted to be responsible for something. They always wanted to, it was in October, they always wanted to have control of something. And I was trying to teach them how to be patient. And I just racked my brain for a little bit about what it was that I can do to slow them down, give them responsibility, and give them something that they had to be responsible for that wasn't like instant gratification. And I said, we're gonna grow something. And we talked about the life cycle every year. It was already in our curriculum, so we were familiar with it. So when we came back, we started growing butterflies first. Butterflies took forever to grow, and they were like, we don't want to grow anything else. So we started doing plants. We started doing plants inside of the house, and then we took it outside. So we grew things like green beans, tomatoes, sugar snap peas, anything that we can put in the pot. We just tried it out because this was new for both of us. But I was trying to show them the process of being patient, learning how to grow our food, and at the same time trying to get them to eat more vegetables, fruits and vegetables, all at the same time because they were all completely against it. But I figured if we grow them, they might be a little more inclined to eat them. Which I did have one kid, Tyan. If you put any vegetable on his plate, he gagged. And then by this summer, he wants everything out of the garden to build his own salad. As long as he could put ketchup on it, he was happy. He'll eat any of it. Um, the boys were super proud, super proud of themselves and what they were able to grow. They were able to bring it home to their family, show them what they wanted to do. I send them home with seeds to do, plant with their families. They would document their journey, bring it back to me, bring me flowers, fruits, vegetables, just anything that they grew, and would tell me about their process. So we were able to pour a lot of different things into this project just besides growing. But they're the ones who inspired me to write the book. When I would tell other people about it, they're just, that's such an amazing thing that you guys are doing. Um, you should talk about it. And I was like, we could just put them in a book. We were making our own books at home. We were making homemade books at the time, and I was just like,
Mm.
we should just write about it, and I think they'll be super excited to see themselves inside of the book as well as everybody to see what they were able to do. Anytime anyone comes to the daycare, they were running to show them what they grew and what they did themselves. They were proud, super proud of themselves. So, like in the picture that's up here, these are flowers that we had started to grow. And we started with these are our seeds, what seeds look like, how we harvested our seeds. Everybody would take some home, grow them, try to bring them back and see what they did on their own along with what we were doing at the daycare. So we would just have contests, and they would who grew the biggest flower, who took care of their plants, and they'd get something out the prize box from. But it was just always something for them to be responsible for.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm looking at the picture and seeing the marigolds. It's reminding me of when I was young. We used to help my grandma in her garden, and marigolds was one of her favorites. Um, and it is definitely really cool to see things growing in a garden and watching the whole cycle.
Oh yeah, yeah. We had a ball doing
Oh,
it every year. This was Jeremiah. That was our last year. Our planter box. The boys all, I think Tyan, Khalil, Jeremiah all did this planter box. He snuck and put peppers in there. We didn't know that peppers that he just dumped the seeds in there. I didn't know. So next to our plants later on in the year, we had peppers growing out of there.
he wanted
And
to
he told
spice
me
it up.
he was like I did that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, so in the books, part of one of the themes that your story teaches is patience, which I think we can all learn, kid or not. How have you applied these lessons, with the children, and what can some of our audience members learn from that?
So what when we kind of went back and we talked about the life cycle, I would tell them that everything has a process. Everything isn't going. We're not going to drop the seed in there, and in an hour we're going to see a big plant. We have to appreciate all of our steps, the whole process. So today, on Monday, we planted this seed, and when we came back next Monday, now we have a little sprout that was yours. You had to take care of it. You had to water it. You had to be patient with it. Come check on it. You have to raise it, and then the next week that you come, now your onion is a little bigger. Those are Eva's onions. They're a little bit bigger, and you still, just the same process. And at some point, they were just like, we don't want the onions anymore. They're taking too long. And sometimes I will let them ignore them and kind of see their plant dying and let them know, like, you're not being patient enough with your plant. You have to still take care of it, even when nobody's paying attention to it. You got to take care of it. Look at my onions over there. I've been taking care of those for a long time. I was being patient. And then they would know every day that they came in, they come in, they sign in, they go straight to their plants. And they're like, okay, well, it looks like it grew a little bit bigger, but I'll be patient. I'll be patient. I'm waiting on the flower to bloom, but I see the bud coming, so I'm going to be patient. I'm not going to pick it off. The tomatoes were the hardest for the kids. As soon as they seen the tomatoes grow, they want to snatch it off, and I have to remind you, have to wait until they turn red, and they come in every day, and I see one is just a little orange, and they snatch it off, and one of the other kids will come in and tell them, like, you have to be patient. If you're not patient, now we can't eat the tomato. You got to be patient. So, it's something that the other kids were also teaching each other. I would say that my kids teach each other a lot of the time.
I know it.
And I watch it. I just watch it, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I see the tomato snatcher there.
You'll see him. Some of it they'll be really happy. Yeah, he was super proud of that. Was I think our first tomato that turned red. And Jamie's plant, the strawberry plant, whenever we could get them before the squirrels got them, she was really happy.
Yeah, them strawberries. Once they get going, man, they spread all over the place. It's awesome.
Yeah, we kept those ones in the pot. We put them in the ground, but we were never able to keep them long enough. And that's Grayson with our neighbor. She planted a flower bed of mint, from chocolate mint, strawberry mint, all different kinds of mint, and then we would pick them and like try to get them to guess which mint it was.
Nice.
Dry it out, and they would bring it home. But that's our neighbor, so she's an expert at gardening. So she helped us a lot.
That's awesome. So, given your involvement in your community and some of the things that you did as a child, growing up in these programs, have you thought about developing like a youth agricultural program for the community or something similar that you could tie to the book?
Yes. I've been working super hard to try to figure this out. It's been kind of hard. I think I'm going to try to reach out to in a couple different avenues, but I want a plot um, that is going to be built by us. We were looking in North Minneapolis. I was looking outside. I want to keep it near the daycare, as close as possible. But yeah, that's the next step. If I can, get a piece of land and get a big enough team to help us, upkeep it and go, then that's the next goal. And that will be our next book. That's my idea. So I'm working hard on it right now. I'm hoping that I can do it by next spring, even if we have to share a lot with the community. That's fine. But
Yeah.
I just, I want something to be able to do that. Like I told you, I did that with White House. We did that for uh, 8 years, and we just shared a
Nice.
community garden. So we have a garden that we share over at. Oh, I'm trying to remember the name of the school. It's right over here on the south. It's on the top of my head, but we go on every Wednesday. Wednesday is where we initially went. We would drop seeds and crack gang.
Crap.
Yes, yes, that's the whole team. We're all the same. We're all the same.
Very
But
correct.
it's in South Minneapolis. You have to see us.
Awesome.
It's you just gotta be there to see us. That's how we come and that's how we garden. So what
Crockett, there you
if you
can
ain't
see the
crocking, you ain't
post.
rocking. So, yep, yep, that's them.
I love it. It
Yeah,
looks
so I
freaking
hope I
amazing.
can get it though. That is my goal, to be able to have a big old piece of
Cool.
land.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Um, So tell us a little bit about the rewards that people can get in the Kickstarter. Is it the book? Do you have other things in there as well?
There's tons and tons of prizes, and since we've actually made it to our goal, we have stretch goals, so we have a couple, two new surprise goals that we're gonna add on to the project. So I'm gonna
Okay.
add pop sockets if we make it to 7 grand. Everybody that's already donated is gonna get these extra items. If we make it to the next stretch goal, I'm gonna add our custom pencils. Just affirmations on the pencil is something that we do every day with the
Oh,
kids in the mirror when they come in, when they leave, when they need to calm down, when they need to meditate, when they need space, they go in the mirror and they say these affirmations to themselves. Um, that's their first way of checking themselves before we go to, timeout, is for them to be able to recognize that you needed a break and then to remind yourself
mm,
of who you are. So um, I put some on the pencils, and that's going to be a gift if anybody knows. If anybody follows me personally on either one of the pages or the Daycare pages, it is something that we do every single day. And those are all my friends. Yeah.
so
So,
cute.
on there, there's different packages ranging from $10 to all the way to 5. You can donate whichever amount you want. You can donate with no reward. You can donate with a small reward. If you go onto the Kickstarter page and you go down and you can kind of pick a package, it tells you everything that you get with the package. Once the book is ready, I'm gonna mail those all out to everybody individually.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's super
Yeah, I'm
exciting. I'm really
excited.
excited about the packages. Everything is made by me, so I'm super excited that me and the kids. Some of
Yes.
the stuff me and the kids are putting together too. And that's our illustrator. She's amazing.
Yeah. So, how did you find Lindsay? Was it through Crown or your own research?
Crown. It was Crown. I'm glad she did find her. We tried a couple of people out. A lot of people were really, really booked. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but Crown ended up finding her. She was, most responsive, and she was really quick. She was amazing. There's our button. When me and the kids make the buttons. There's our
That's
water
so cute.
bottle. Yeah, and all of this stuff is made by me.
That's
So
awesome.
super personal.
Oh, I love puzzles.
Oh yeah, the kids love the puzzles. I've already given them to some of the kids.
That's cool. Although we
There's a
made
couple more
puzzles.
things on there. Not everything's posted on there, but
Yeah.
surprises. And those
Oh,
are
that's fun.
keychains. Watch me grow, watch me sprout. Everything is on there.
Cool. Very nice. You got your little
That's
go
my favorite
bag.
bag right there. Yeah, that's my because I'm bag lady, so I always have bags. That's my favorite. That was my favorite thing to put together was that bag.
Maximina's clapping and saying she loves it.
Hey friend.
But yes, so if you guys are watching this and you have not backed this project yet, please support. Jocelyn's doing some wonderful, beautiful, amazing work with the children and the community. I mean, the success of our communities depend upon our children and building a good foundation for them. So books and projects like this are critical to their development. Um, and I can just tell, listening to Jocelyn, that she puts a lot of heart and soul into this book, and it's something that should definitely be in your child's library on high rotation for
Oh
sure.
yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, well, I was going to ask a school visit question, but I'm like, well, you don't need a school visit. You have it right there in your own classroom.
I know.
But
I plan on doing some. I know my friend Demetria is now. She just found out she's my daughter's teacher at her school. So I'll be doing a school visit for them soon over at JJ Legacy.
gotcha. So, a fun question. I guess when you were a kid, what was one of your favorite books?
It was it was Brown Bear, Brown Bear.
Okay.
Brown Bear was my favorite, and I remember it. And Very Hungry Caterpillar. I don't know. I like Brown Bear, Brown Bear because of just the pattern, the song. We just
Mm-hmm.
made like a huge big fun thing out of it. I remember my teacher made it super interactive, so it was just something that stuck with me. And then the caterpillar, um, I think I liked it. I was always greedy. I was like, this caterpillar can eat everything. We're gonna. And then they had the book, the little flip book, and um, I don't know. I just I always liked it. So from there, like as I got a little older, because I got into chapter books really, really quick. But for my kids' books, I think that was the my favorite one.
Gotcha. Yeah, Rumbear and the Catapult. I mean, even now, those are, I believe those are still like some top sellers. So it's one of the children's books is that
Hmm.
if you tell a good story, it can be very timeless.
Hmm.
It's, children's for future generation, not just, for the here and now. So
Hmm.
um, I can see this
Yeah.
being a staple because
Oh no,
growing
I
in,
definitely think that it
yeah.
is. I think this is something that people are going to be able to take with them, and it's always going to be, like you said, a timeless piece. Um, I feel like this process that we're going through with teaching kids what it is that I'm teaching them, and um, teaching kids about patience and growth, healthy eating, um, being friendly with your friends, and all of those things are going to forever rotate through our lives. And you'll
Mm-hmm.
always be able to come back and relate to this book. It's not a thing that's going to come and go. So Watch Me Grow is always going to be um, something to come back to.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Crown for all the work that she does to help make sure that these books from indie authors, specifically Black and people of color books, get shine and are promoted through our communities. Crown does a lot of amazing work, um, and to see her mentoring and bringing up other authors. Is awesome as well. That's what I think. It's one of the reasons I love her is because she's about it. Like it's not just only focused on me. She definitely brings the community vibe as well, and that's something I certainly appreciate. Amongst a lot of our indie creators,
Yeah, yeah.
understanding that it's teamwork, right?
Yeah, especially with getting started. Like I don't even I couldn't give Connor's amazing. Like hands down, she's amazing. I don't know how she does it. I don't know how I really don't know how she does it. And when it's 11 and it's 12 o'clock at night and we're on, FaceTime and we're trying to figure out, she's working with my schedule, I'm working with hers. I don't encourage her to stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning, working on these projects. But she did. She she made it possible. She knew what my day was like with the kids, so it was just almost impossible. But she just always was like, nope, we're gonna push, 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 push. We're gonna do this. This is how you do it. I never expected the response that I was looking for when I first met her at the Black State Fair. I was like, I hope I'm gonna ask, and if it works out, it works out. If not, maybe next year, maybe another time. And she was always just like, are we meeting? Are we figuring it out? Are we doing this? Are you doing this? This is my idea for you. And she just really, I wish I could just like hug her through the phone. She's amazing. Yeah, she is. I don't know where she finds the time and the energy for it all, but she definitely helped me um, guide me and teach me how to go through this process. I'm like super
Yeah,
confident. If I do this again, I know I could do it again.
absolutely. I mean, you're proving it. You already beat your goal, and you have
And I was
still
so
six.
scared. Crown,
I,
Crown knows
we
it. I was
all
so
were.
scared. I was like, if I run this Kickstarter, and I think this is such an amazing project, and I know like I talk to everybody about it all the time, and everybody's like, no, do it. And I was like, if I run this Kickstarter and I get $3, I'm gonna quit. I'm just gonna quit. And that first day, everybody showed it out. I'm really excited to see where we go. What is it, 6 days that we have left? So 5 days after
Mhm.
today that we have left, and I want to just see how far that we can take it. I have some amazing ideas on, where we're gonna go if we get past that. Um, our next goal, which is a 7,000.
Okay. Yes, let's get you to 7,000. It's totally doable, absolutely. But yeah, I think even, as someone who has done Kickstarter before, it doesn't matter how many you do, it's still nervous like before you hit the button like,
You
oh
really?
gosh. Oh gosh. Yeah, it's not going to go away.
Yeah.
You definitely be more confident the more that you do like, there'll be kind of like waves like, no, I know I can do this, I can do this
Yeah.
project. But it's still, it's just like, all right, it's just a nervous energy. I want to get there, and the main thing is like making sure that you're getting the word out, which clearly you have because your audience is there, supporting you, and having that strong community is definitely helpful as well because especially as you're first getting started, those are the people who help you, be successful on your first one and continuously build as you go along. So shout
Right.
outs to the Minnesota community for being so supportive of Josalyn and Crown and all of the other authors that are on the Liberate Your Bookshelf table.
Yes.
Yes. um so we're getting close to the end of the time, but let me just ask one more question. In this process of creating your story, what was the most challenging thing for you and how did you overcome it?
Um, I think that I think the most challenging part um was just understanding the process of like a writer. Like how do you tell your story? How do you make sure that your story is seen, through your eyes and that people are gonna get your vision?
Mm,
Um and I was always afraid that okay, this is my story, but I just hope you're receiving it the same way that I am. I hope you see how important this is not only to us but like just to our lifestyle.
yeah.
And that it just will be appreciated, you know. Other than that, like I told you, Crown made it a very, very easy process to go through this. Sometimes it was a little hard when I would, go online and buy things to plan and it didn't work out, the way we wanted to. But I would show the kids like that's part of the process, trial and error. We're not
Mm,
gonna, win every time. We're not gonna, grow everything and it's gonna come out how we expect it to. But that's just a part of the process. Um, other than that, my biggest thing was just hoping that people can see my vision.
yeah. Yep. I think that's a common theme that probably most writers can can relate to.
Yeah.
Awesome. Alrighty. So for those who are watching, please check out Jocelyn's campaign, Watch Me Grow on Kickstarter. I'm going to drop the link again one more time in the comment section. If you click that, it will take you to the campaign. You can check it out yourself and find a way that you can support her. As she mentioned, it can be just cash only, no reward, or you can pick from the different tiers that she's put together to get the book or any of the other things that she's offering. Definitely check it out. It closes in 6 days. Let's help her get to her 7,000 goal. So what was the 7,000 stretch goal, sis?
Pop sockets are gonna be added to everybody's
Pop
package.
sockets.
Yeah.
Yes. So one of the cool things about Kickstarters is once we pass the goal, creators offer bonus extras for people who have already backed.
Hmm.
So if she hits the 7,000, we're gonna do pop sockets for everyone who is already on the campaign. And of course, any new people join to help us get to the 7,000. Please look if you have friends, family who have children, and you like these are lessons that we learned. I feel like these are lessons that we learned by children. Helps them set up much life. Hit the share button on campaign. You can share. If you can person back, another way for you to help support is to share it with your friends. More eyes on the campaign, so that amazing thing for the children in her community. community backers support her. So thank you all for that. In the meantime, outside of Kickstarter, where can folks follow you, follow your journey on social media and online?
Yeah, did we have it all listed and posted?
Let's see. I guess your like your Instagram, are you Instagram, Twitter, any of those?
Oh yeah, so most of the time Instagram, which is under the Expanding Mind CC, and then my personal Facebook, which is just Josalyn Thomas on there.
Yes, I see it now. So I'm gonna put those in the comments too. She's just Cupcake on Instagram and Twitter, and then her website expandingmindscc.com.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All righty. Awesome. Well, before we end the show, we usually do a fun thing. And since we have some good engagement tonight, I'm happy to do this. So we're going to do a giveaway, a Moana Nui prize pack giveaway. Let me bring that up here. So if you have engaged in the comments, you were automatically entered into this giveaway. And we will draw, and hopefully it won't pick our comments. If it does, I will spin again until we get someone who is not Moana Nui Podcast. I'm still trying to figure out, asking StreamYard to find a way to take out the host's comments. So let's see where we land. See what I'm saying? Sorry, guys. We'll spin. We'll spin one more time. I have no control over this. I just spin again. I'm like, we need to figure out a way to take ourselves out of there. Take the host out of there. Start. See, come on. Sorry, guys. Oh man. Crown's laughing. I know, it's funny. Watch, it's gonna be Crown. Hey, Ryan Robinson. Congratulations, Ryan. I will send you something. Message me. Well, you always message me. So just message me and remind me. Send me your email address and we will get that over to you. Congratulations. Thank you for everyone who tuned in tonight and engaged in this wonderful episode. I had a very good time talking with Josalyn and getting to know you better. I look forward to your success with this Kickstarter and seeing you grow, and definitely having you as a part of the Moana Nui podcast community in the future. And I know we're going to see your book on Crown's table. So congratulations again on reaching your goal, and we wish you the best of luck as you continue to push in your last couple of days, and of course the fulfillment piece. So thank you for coming on. Is there anything else you would like to say to our audience before we sign off?
No, just thank you for everybody for coming in and tuning in and watching. Everybody that donated, I say it all the time, everybody is amazing. I'm super, super excited that everybody made it, as smooth as it went. But thanks, Ryan, everybody who came in, Maxie, Kiki, everybody.
Yes. Alrighty, guys. Well, if you enjoyed, you're welcome. It was a pleasure. Please be sure to follow us on YouTube and Twitch, Moana Nui Podcast. We stream regularly every Thursday at 7 and 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And you can find our recordings on all podcast platforms, Google's, Apple, all the Shopify, all of those. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you guys have a great rest of the evening. And we will talk to you guys tomorrow during our normal spot. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Moana.
All right. Bye-bye.
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will.
If this the land of the free, it was a freedom then, when they annexed Hawaii and called it cedar lands, without any type of payment and no signing off. Called themselves a republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand, yeah.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. The work of all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. We will.
So if you put Hawaii into perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then of course versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course. Cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. The work of all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. We will.